Hi, welcome back to this video. We are setting up a direct audit upgrade lab, and we're going from 2018 to 2020. In the previous section, we installed direct audit, make sure that everything is working, and now we're getting into the upgrade part. So like everything else, preparation and planning is super important, and everything starts with an inventory. So although you could use Audit Manager and do an inventory, notice that I have 3 systems that are being audited right now. I have I have one collector. Um, I have one audit store. In reality, in a production environment, this could be massive, right? That's why you need tools, and this is where PowerShell comes into play. For example, the first thing you want to do is collect your inventory, right? So there's the CDA PowerShell module that gets installed. You can install it independently in your box. You don't need to install anything else. And notice that I can, iterate and get, for example, my installation, right? Then I can say, well, I need to know the audit stores that I have, and it's going to bring in the audit stores that I have. Um, and again, maybe I need to know how many collectors I have and what versions, super important. Maybe how many agents I have. And for completeness, maybe I want to also know what versions of the operating systems this machines have. This is going to become very important because the next thing you want to do is you want to read the release notes. So Centrify has all the documentation open. So if you ever want to get to it, here's the URL. But you also search on Google and use the cite directive, and you can search and then cite colon docs.centrify.com, and you should be fine. So the very first thing you want to do is read the suite release notes. For example, um, very important. For example, the names of the agents for Unix Linux tell you which is the lowest version that it can run. For example, in this case, here, this package for PowerPC, the lowest version it can run is RHEL 5. So it's important to be familiarized with the naming conventions. So the other thing is support, right? So if you're going to go to a version, you want to make sure that that version is going to be supported. Here you can see the support statement. So if we're going to be upgrading to for version 2020, we know that we have for standard support, we have 3 years and 5 years for full support. The other thing is new added platforms. Notice that I failed when I wanted to add a Windows machine that had Windows 10 version 24, 2004. And this can be solved by, looking at the newly added supported platforms, right? The other thing is, what are the versions that are supported for these Unix platforms? This is where the inventory comes into play. So I have this inventory here, and I have the operating systems. Notice that I have Windows Server 2016, 2019, and CentOS 7. So what I need to do is look in here and see if those versions are supported. Another tip that I can give you is there's the Centrify all supported platforms. And this document is a PDF that you can get, and it'll give you another consolidated view of what's supported. So in my case, I don't have to worry about CentOS. I don't have to worry about uh, Windows Windows 2019. Obviously, the long-term supported channel is the one that is supported. Let me see what else. So notice here, so there's some feature changes. So it says that with the Agent 19.6 and later, there's a different convention library, right? So notice that it says you will lose video data if you deploy newer agents in an environment with 18, 11, or older collectors. So in this case, we are going to go to a new version that is going to have a new encryption. So we want to make sure that we're taking that into account. The other thing that you want to take a look is you want to take a look at the direct audit release notes, right? So notice that there's compatibility, security fixes, right? So you want to make sure that you read through this and notice that it's telling me, hey, here's what you're going to do. Before you upgrade the collectors, you need to update the database schema and all that nice stuff. So upgrade the database, upgrade the collectors, and then upgrade the agents. So this is giving me the sequencing of things. This is where going back to my inventory, right? Understanding, I know what the other store is, right? I know the collectors and I know the agents. So keep that in mind. This is what you do when you're preparing for this, right? The next is going to be to do it in the lab, and we're going to follow those recommendations to be able to do that. And we're going to start that in the next video.